What's up, guys? In today's video, I want to talk about the Conduit in Soul Calibur 7 and what role they're going to play. I'm going to be joined by a couple of the Yoon-Fam who've actually sent in their audio recordings telling me what their predictions for the Conduit story and plot lines are going to be in Soul Calibur 7. So, off the bat, I just want to say that, thank you to the 3 people that are going to watch this video, because nobody seemed to play Libra of Souls mode in Soul Calibur 6. Which I can understand a little bit why, because there's a lot of reading and a lot of trudging through walls of text without voiced lines and very low production value. So there's a lot of fun there, and actually more than half of the game's modes are actually locked behind Libra of Souls. So if you did play it, you were in for a treat. But unfortunately, a lot of people actually didn't play it. So what is the Conduit's role in Soul Calibur 6 before we get into Soul Calibur 7? Well, the Conduit is pretty much the storyteller. It's the audience. We create our character in Libra of Souls. They are canon to Soul Calibur, and they're the ones that are taking on these portals from the astral chaos and absorbing them to try and dissipate some of that energy and to try and just thwart the bad guys. But that's neither here nor there when it comes to that. There is a larger role that plays over that, and I will go into a bunch of the lore of the Soul Calibur 6 Conduit in another video leading up to 7, but I wanted to talk today about our predictions for what are going to be happening to the Conduit roles that are going to play in Soul Calibur 7 specifically. So just a heads up, I'm going to play some audio for you now with some gameplay in the background of Hannah and Matt, and then they are going to give you their opinions on what's going to transpire with Conduit in Soul Calibur 7, and then I'm going to follow up with my opinion, and then we're going to call the video there. So without further ado, here they are, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey, it's Hannah. I believe that the Conduit will play a more behind-the-scenes role in Soul Calibur 7. Someone that works in the shadows. Probably working with Zasalamel, Hwang, and Grow, if Grow's gonna appear. Hopefully he appears, because I actually like Grow. The main character for Soul Calibur 7 will probably be someone like Cassandra, or Talim, or someone Conduit. I feel like they're gonna be someone who lurks in the shadows, has their own battles to fight, and then that will probably correlate with the main character's story. I think they might do something that's similar to Libra of Souls in terms of gameplay. Probably kind of like in Chronicles of the Sword as well. However, I do believe that they could do a Sonic Adventure 2 route in which there are 2 sides of the story. One side is the main character story, and the other is the Conduit / Oddball Organization story. Both stories are finished. It'll go to a final route in which all of them go together, all of them come together, and then the final boss happens, and then we get their conclusion and the setup for a possible sequel.
Hello there, everybody. This is SolarFlare95, and I have a small theory as to what I believe the Conduit's role in Soul Calibur 7 will be. Now, as we all know, well, those of us who played Libra of Souls anyway, the Conduit was affected by the evil seed, and because of it, they would have to absorb the power of the astral fissures, or they would essentially die. Now, it seems like because of this, they have become sort of linked to the astral chaos in a way. And also, there is the fact that in one of Mitsurugi's story chapters, he ends up being transported to the astral chaos and encountering Algol, who is essentially a disembodied voice at this point. Speaking of, in one of the side quests in Libra, the Conduit encounters Zasalamel and is also teleported to the astral chaos, where they seemingly become briefly possessed or influenced by Algol. So what I think is that because of this, Algol somehow sees that the Conduit is able to absorb these astral fissures and grow stronger and whatnot. So it seems that Algol might take an interest in the Conduit. Also, there is a bit of lore in the museum that implies that the Eval organization is planning an assault against this organization led by Nightmare and Ishka Acht and Johan Durer and stuff, called the Swords and Shepherds, which are essentially Soul Calibur's version of, like, think the Akatsuki from Naruto, sort of an evil organization like that. And in that bit of lore, Natalie goes to try and find the Conduit to see if she can enlist their help in the assault. So what I believe is going to happen is that the Conduit is going to show up to help and get involved with the Swords and Shepherds, and during all the fighting and chaos, that is when Algol is going to make his move. And like I said before, it's the Conduit seemingly briefly became possessed by Algol, which I assume led Algol to see that the Conduit was very powerful. So Algol is going to make his move during all the chaos and maybe possess the Conduit and use them as a vessel in order to bring himself back into the material world.
So first and foremost, I want to thank Hannah and Matt for actually coming on my channel and giving me their opinions. It was much appreciated. And now on for my opinion on this. So for me, I like using the Conduit, and I like the whole role they play in the canon, just because of the fact that, like, in Soul Calibur 3, one of the most fun things for me to do was play the Chronicles of the Sword mode, where you actually are a part of the story, you create your character, and then you can edit any of the people that join you along the way. So Liber actually does that somewhat similarly, but just without, like, the kind of gameplay style that was present in Soul Calibur 3. To its detriment, I might add. But I think that, like, the Conduit overall is going to play, like, a more overarching background theme in Soul Calibur 7, and similar to what he did in 6, like, he's going to be taking care of the loose ends that, like, the main cast may not even necessarily know about, right? Because we saw him interacting with a bunch of the cast, or she, or whatever character he created, Lizard, whatever. But we didn't necessarily see the outcomes of that forwarded in the story, in the main storyline. That was mainly about, like, you know, Gro and Mitsurugi and, like, everyone else who's doing stuff in their Soul Chronicles. But the Conduit plays an important part, I think, especially in 7, because of the fact that the evil shards are being gathered by the Swords and Shepherds from the Evil Sword. Now, the fact that Soul Edge's shards are scattered all around, and we have the Conduit, like, trying to dissipate and absorb these astral energies from the portals in Soul Calibur 6. I think he's going to play a similar role in Soul Calibur 7. So he's going to be the stop point measure. Like, I'm assuming, like, some of the Swords and Shepherds get a hold of the evil shards, something's going to happen, something's going to open with the astral chaos. It always does. And I think he's going to be the one to pretty much clean up the mess of the main cast going through the story, if that makes sense. So we have Hwang Sung-gung working in the background to try and stop everything in accordance with what Zasalamel's information and the training of his master are. And we have the main cast splitting off into groups as they always do, and trying to take on each Sword and Shepherd team and recoup that evil energy from the shard. And I don't know what's going to play out specifically with that with Ishka-Oct and the Swords and Shepherds, but I do think that the Conduit is going to play a large background role of cleanup. I think that makes sense in a lot of ways. Like, I try to be as short and precise with it as possible. He's obviously not going to be a forefronted role. It's going to be the character that we use in a secondary story mode, similar to Libra of the Souls or Chronicles of the Sword or something akin to that. And I'm hoping more of like a Tekken 4C, Soul Calibur Legends type thing in the next game. Well, with a bigger budget, we'll see what goes on with that. But I think that this is important in and of itself to specify that the Conduit is part and parcel to the Astral Chaos, where the Conduit is actually going to play host to Algol and his ambitions, and it's going to be a similar situation to what I think is going to happen with Ishka-Oct. But a lot of people think that the Conduit is actually amassing this power, amassing the shards from the Evil Sword, amassing all the energies from the Astral Chaos from closing the portals, and that is going to be what allows him, or they, or whatever, to play a host to Algol as his new body, his reincarnation. So I think that's like a large possibility. I still kind of think it's Ishka-Oct, just because of the way the narration is playing out, but I can see definitely that going that way, and why people would also think that that would be the case. Anyway, now it's time for me to turn the question over to you guys. I want to hear in the comment section down below, or on my Discord, where link is in the description box, what you think role the Conduit is actually going to play in Soul Calibur 7, and how important of that role you think it is for, again, the three of you that are going to watch this video. This is a good secret word video, so if you got to the end of this video, in the comment section down below, I want you to please type Conduit. Just do that, and that will let me know that you actually finished the video. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe if you like the content. Always coming out with more stuff. Currently it's on Mondays and Fridays, but it changes from time to time with news and add more content and whatnot. I'm thinking about bringing streaming back, so let me know if you want that as well. Any thoughts are always welcome. And as I always say, guys, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.